Myself Rupnavar KM from TC College Baramati, and today we are going to learn new point from section 2 of paper CHA 5304, and today's topic heading is gas phase chemiluminescent analysis. Gas phase chemiluminescence or gas phase chemiluminescent analysis. These are the headings. Chemiluminescence widely used for analysis of air pollutants. Or chemiluminescence has been used extensively for the determination of gaseous air pollutants. Among the pollutants that are assayed using chemiluminescence are ozone, sulfur compounds and the nitrogen compounds. Ozone is generally determined using one of three chemiluminescent reactions. And first one is a regional method, second method is a Environmental Protection Agency's reference method, and third one is a chemiluminescent analysis method. By using all these three methods, we can determine the amount of ozone present in the air. Here is the method first, which is developed on 1970s by the scientist Regener. Before the early 1970s, the reaction between ozone and the rhodamine B that has been adsorbed on activated silica gel was oftenly used. Means simply ozone and rhodamine B reacts, and this reaction was adsorbed on the activated silica gel. This technique was oftenly used before 1970s. Later, there is an improvement in this method, and the apparatus is also improved or designed in a new manner. The method could be used to determine ozone concentration less than 1 ppb, that is parts per billion. A disadvantage of the regional method is the need for an internal standard source of a ozone for calibration. Means for calibration purpose there is a need of internal standard source of ozone. This is a limitation of the regional method. And again, second limitation of this method is apparatus must be frequently calibrated, because rhodamine B undergoes decay process, and this decay process is very slow. That's why there is a restriction to use regional method, which is developed in 1970s. After that, the second method is developed, and name of this method is Environmental Protection Agency reference method. The method was developed by Nederbrandt, van der Waals and van Duijzen. These are the three scientists who have developed this method. And in this method, the concentration of ozone and ethane is taken in the, here is the ethene. Ozone reacts with ethene in 1:1 molar ratio and emits a broad band of chemiluminescence that is observed on the machine at an center point 435 nanometer. This is a standard method of analysis used for find out the concentration of ozone in air. In 1971, this method was used for the federal air quality standards. And after that, there is a third method which is also developed not for only for the ozone but for all the components which are present in the air, as ozone, then the nitrogen and the sulfur. Here is the third method, chemiluminescent method. The ozone and nitrogen monoxide or nitrous oxide reacts in 1:1 concentration. The reaction can be used to determine either ozone or NO, nitrous oxide. The non-analyte is held in excess so that the amount of luminescence is determined by the amount of analyte. Analyte which is of interest is in less concentration, and non-analyte material or the material except than the analyte is in greater amount or is in excess amount than the analyte. Here, luminescence is measured of 600 nanometer and greater with an IR sensitive PM tube. Means simply photomultiplier tube is used in the visual and the IR region, and the measurement can be done at 600 nanometer or greater. Here, the sulfur compounds, nitrogen compounds can be analyzed with the side by side ozone. First is the sulfur containing compounds which already present in the air that can be separated by using the chromatographic techniques, and then these samples individually kept for the analysis on the gas chromatograph, and there is a further analysis of these components. Here, sulfur dioxide, sulfuric acid, H2S and other components which contain sulfates, organic sulfides and the mercaptans, in all these forms atmospheric nitrogen is present, or the atmospheric sulfur is present. SO2 is responsible for acid rain. Obviously, nitric acid is responsible for acid rain, but initially we are studying only sulfur components. Sulfur dioxide and other atmospheric sulfide generally occur as a particulates rather than in the form of gaseous air pollutants. Sulfur compounds can be assayed by chemiluminescent reaction in hydrogen-rich air flame, and atomic sulfur in the flame reacts to form the S2, which is a molecular form that chemiluminescence at 394 nanometer. This method is used to detect the individual components as they are eluted from a gas chromatographic columns. The components are separated in the column of chromatography initially, and then individually these components enters into the chemiluminescent flame detector, where each component is quantitatively determined. Side by side, as initially we have determined ozone, then sulfur, then the another components which are present in the air, pollutants, air, that can be analyzed, and the components present in the pollutants are as carbon monoxide, phosphorus, boron and the chloride can be determined. Cl2 determination requires the presence of indium in the barrel of the burner. The atmospheric nitrogen, and the third component is the nitrogen. Here, the atmospheric nitrogen compounds that are environmentally of the greatest interest are ammonia, amines, NO, NO2. Some instruments are designed to monitor NOx, which is the sum of nitrogen monoxide and nitrogen dioxide. Means NOx is the sum of NO and NO2. And NO and NO2 can be determined by the chemiluminescent reaction of NO with ozone. NO directly reacts with ozone, and NO2, when NO2 is taken at that time, initially we have to convert NO2 into NO, and then this NO can react with ozone, and there is a formation of NO2 plus O2 and emission of a chemiluminescent light, H nu. Nitrogen monoxide and nitrogen dioxide can be determined by the chemiluminescent reaction of NO with ozone. If NO2 is to be acid, the NO2 is initially converted to NO. NO2 is taken here. NO2 gives NO plus half O2. This NO when reacts with ozone O3, there is a formation of NO2 plus O2 and plus H nu. This H nu is the chemiluminescent light. Above two reaction, this one is a reaction 1 and this is a reaction 2. Above reaction shows chemiluminescence emission at an wavelength or the maximum wavelength of absorption is 600 nanometer with an IR sensitive photomultiplier tube. Already I have told you the IR sensitive photomultiplier tube works in the region 600 nanometer and plus. And the analyte concentration which is useful for the chemiluminescent analysis of nitrogen, which is given here 0.002 to 1000 parts per million. This is the concentration of the analyte required for the analysis of nitrogen on the chemiluminescent apparatus. Here, nitrogen monoxide can be determined directly by the reaction 2. Here, amount of NO directly determined by equation 2. If the reaction 1 is preceded, this is a reaction 1. When reaction 1 is preceded, initially we have to convert NO2 into NO, and then this NO reacts with ozone, and after reacting with ozone there is a formation of the products and the emission of light at 600 nanometer. The NO2 concentration can be determined by subtracting the NO concentration. Means initially we have NO concentration and we follow when reaction number 1, then we cannot get directly the concentration of the NO2. That's why we initially find out concentration of NO, and reaction 1 gives the sum of NO and NO2. From this sum, take a subtraction of this reaction 1 minus reaction 2. After that we will get the amount of concentration of NO2. Means what? NO plus NO2 concentration present in the reaction 1, and from this just subtract concentration of NO, you will get the concentration of NO. The concentration of NOx in automobile exhaust and in cigarette smoke is determined in the same way by using chemiluminescent apparatus. As earlier I have told you, NOx means what? It is a sum of the concentration of NO and the NO2. And same as a NO2, we can determine amount of ammonia present in the air. And when the analysis of ammonia can be start, at that time this ammonia reacts at very high temperature with oxygen to yield nitrogen dioxide. Ammonia and other basic components can be removed from the air prior to analysis by passing the sample through an acid solution in a scrubber. The scrubber means what? The scrubber is a vessel that contains a liquid solution and through which the gaseous sample is pumped. Usually the sample is converted with the aid of a glass frit to small bubbles that flow through the solutions. If the concentration of ammonia is required, the total concentration of NOx as determined after scrubbing and is subtracted from the total concentration of NOx and NH3 as determined with no scrubbing. Means same as above reaction which is written here, the NOx is the sum of NO and NO2, and when the ammonia is determined at that time, ammonia instead of NO you can take here ammonia NH3 plus O3, and reaction occurs at very high temperature and there is a formation of the NOx and NH3. At that time we have to find out the total concentration and then subtract the concentration NOx and NH3 when there is a no scrubbing. Before scrubbing, the concentration of NOx and NH3 are different, and after scrubbing means just put this liquid solution in a vessel and the gas is pumped into this solution. After that means after scrubbing the concentration is different and before scrubbing concentration is different. Just subtract the total concentration of NOx from the total concentration of NOx and NH3.